overnight hours from the EWTN listener comment line.
My name's Ronald. I'm hard to ask a question in 60 seconds, but I guess was raised Protestant. I've only since started listening to this radio show on 104.7, and I'm wondering why I should be a Catholic instead of a Protestant. Also, I'm a combat veteran. I'm a drug addict. I'm an alcoholic, and I need to know, how to get across the chasm. I guess that's the long story short.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Ronald. I appreciate the question. So, look, my motive for becoming Catholic, when I became Catholic, was that I became persuaded that the Catholic Church was the church founded by Christ, and that the various Protestant versions of Christianity were incoherent, and they made claims about themselves that could not possibly be true. And it became intellectually impossible for me to make an act of faith in, say, the Westminster Confession or the Augsburg Confession or the 39 Articles of the Anglican Church, because they stated things that I knew for a fact, that I knew with certainty were contrary to fact. So it simply became impossible to be an intellectually honest Christian. And many claims of the Catholic Church may escape our rational capacity to grasp, like, say, the Trinity or the Incarnation or transubstantiation. I mean, these things escape our ability to discern them rationally. But nothing in the Catholic faith offended reason in the way the Protestant tradition did. And what I could test against history, reason, morality, and so forth, not only cohered with what I could discern philosophically or historically or in my own heart, but also fulfilled within me my deepest spiritual existential longing, right? And so there was a historical claim to Catholicism. There was a philosophical claim to Catholicism. There was a deep coherence in my own heart, longing for that truth, goodness, and beauty that is incarnate in Christ and was offered to me to be my own, to transform me from inside out, remake me into the likeness of image of Jesus, and to be able to cry with Christ, right, Abba, Father, and to know God in a far deeper and more intimate way than I had ever known him before, and with a promise that my life had meaning even in its suffering, in this historical process, freed from the fiction that I would be saved by faith alone, which then denuded all of my moral efforts of any value. I was given the promise that I could be aided in my moral efforts, and that everything that I did, every jot and tittle, every cup of cold water that I offered to one of these little ones, would not go without eternal reward, and my life became suffused with meaning and with hope. And it was for me the greatest motive to become Catholic. The Catholic Church claims to have the fullness of the truth of divine revelation. The Protestant Church has only bits and pieces of the truth. The Catholic Church claims to have the fullness of the means of grace, all the seven sacraments, all the prayers and intercessions of the saints and the ministrations of the Church that come to aid me in this life of holiness. The Catholic Church claims to have the fullness of that unity that Christ desires when he prays that those who believe in him would be one. And we have the means to bring that about through the doctrine of the papacy and the magisterium and the episcopacy. These are visible signs of the Church's unity, and we can tell. It's quite easy to tell who's a Catholic and who's not, right? Are we in communion with the Church? Are we in communion with the Bishop of Rome? So even though there's diversity within the body of the Catholic Church, there's an objective ground for our unity as Christians, and there's a way to delineate dogma from opinion, what's allowable from what's not allowable. So all these aspects of Christian identity, faith and holiness and Christian identity, find their fulfillment, their wholeness within the life of the Catholic Church. It's not easy. It's not easy to be Catholic, and when you join the Church, you will have suffering. And a lot of it from the Church, from other Catholics who will not treat you well, and they will disappoint you, and you'll have unfulfilled expectations because, gosh darn it, I thought everybody was St. Therese and St. Augustine, and they're not, you know. No. And so you will have suffering, but you'll have something to do with your suffering. You'll have something to do with your suffering. And I think that goes to your next point. So you're in a bad way. You're in a bad way, and our heart goes out to you, and a lot of people are. A lot of those who come to faith in Christ are in a bad way. And I can't promise you that becoming Catholic will instantly transform your material life and make it in a good way, but it'll give you tools.
Sure.
And it'll give you means, and it'll give you a way to think about, to cope with the suffering that you have. You know, at one level, the things that you're suffering, the addiction, alcoholism, PTSD, these kinds of things, these are wounds in our emotional life, in our passions, in our memory, sense memory in particular, as we look back on traumatic events that we had that caused great pain, and we try to palliate them through pleasures, through sort of jacking the dopamine pathways in our brain. And all of us do that. Even the people who are not addicts, you know, maybe turn to that extra slice of pecan pie or watch one more TV show or just something to distract ourselves from the angst, from the horror show that we've experienced. And for me, it's a great comfort to recognize that as Catholics, the passions, the life of the passions, the emotions, these pains and sorrows, they're not the whole show. They're part of who I am,
Right.
but they're not the whole show. But the highest faculty that I have, the most important part of me, that wherein I image God, right, the likeness and image of God, is in my rationality, in my capacity to know the truth, to know the good, to know the beautiful, and the freedom of choice that I have to align my life with that true good and beautiful that I see in Jesus. And then over time, as I continually will the good with the aid of grace and strengthen the will, I can grow from incontinence to continence to temperance and begin to find another solace, one that's far deeper and more meaningful than just at the mere passionate or emotional sphere at which the addict tends to live, and ultimately to find freedom. It's not an easy path.
No.
And I would encourage you to reach out perhaps to Catholic Family Services, Catholic Social Services in your diocese or your neighborhood, and get help and get accompaniment. You need the sacraments and the truth of the faith, but you need one-on-one accompaniment as well, from professionals even, I would suggest,
Sure.
that can help you in this. You will to do the good and let others come by and help you do the heavy lifting.
Thank you so much for your call, and please know of our prayers for you. Thank you again for your call. It is